Welcome to Living the Dream podcast. Do you dream of turning your side hustle into a full-time creative business? You're not alone. Andrea is an artist and owner of Stuck on Snark, a small business that specializes in, snark. She's working on turning her dreams into reality, and you're invited along for the ride. Learn the ins and outs of running a small craft business, and don't make the same mistakes Andrea did. Are you ready? Let's go!
Hello, and welcome to the Living the Dream podcast. I'm Andrea, and I have an Instagram addiction. Social media is one of the most hotly debated topics when it comes to starting a business. Do you post every day? Where do you post? What time? Should you buy followers? That last one is a no. So I'm going to share my 10 tips for getting started with social media for your business. Tip number 1 is to think about your audience when picking your platforms. Do not stress out about being on every social media platform. You really need to think about your target audience for this one. For example, if your target audience is middle-aged women looking for locally made jewelry, then you can probably skip out on TikTok. On the flip side, if you're trying to attract Gen Z youngins, then you may need to swallow your pride and start TikToking. Can that be a verb? As much as we, and by we, I mean me, hate it, Facebook still has the most users at 2.7 billion. A quarter of those users are in the 25 to 34 age range, and 44% are women. How does that fit into who you want to sell to? Instagram, my fave, has 1 billion users. 33% are 25 to 34, and 57% are women. That's not to say that younger and older customers aren't on Instagram and Facebook, but it's good to see where the ages lay out across the platforms. YouTube has twice as many users as IG, and 72% of all internet users, regardless of gender, are on the tube. But a lot of users tend to be younger. I'm talking 15 to 25. Of course, you've got Twitter, which is older and way more dudes, Pinterest, which is a little bit older and way more women, and LinkedIn, which is older and more professional. Then you've got TikTok. With 100 million users, TikTok has been described as up and coming. There are more female users on TikTok, and many fall in the 18 to 24 age range. But get this, people spend an average of 45 minutes a day on TikTok. That is a gold mine if your ideal customer is one of them. So just think about who you want to attract and where they hang out. And don't overlook the underdogs like Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. If you're selling any sort of professional themed product or service, then LinkedIn could be perfect for you. There's way less competition there. Tip number 2, sustainability is best when choosing your schedule. Would being on all the platforms and posting every day boost your biz? Sure, but only if you could actually keep it up. Because obsessively posting for 3 weeks and then quitting because you're burnt out isn't going to help anyone, least of all your business. My advice, should you choose to accept it, is to start with one platform that resonates with you and your ideal customer. If you already spend half your day on Instagram and your customer seems to be there too, then don't worry about TikTok right now. After you've gotten comfy with creating regular content, then you can branch out to another platform or two. When it comes to how often to post, you'll get a different answer from every person on the internet. I'll give you my 2 cents because it's my podcast, but go with your gut on this one. You should aim to post at least 2 to 3 times a week. Put together a couple of posts on a Sunday and then push them out throughout the week. If you post less than that, the dreaded algorithm is going to eat you alive and people will forget you exist. I post 7 days a week on Instagram and Facebook. That sounds intense, but I figured out a system that works for me. I wait till I'm in the mood to create content, and then I'll create seriously like 10 posts in an hour and schedule them out with later.com. I post the exact same images on Facebook as I do Instagram. I just remove the hashtags from the caption because FB doesn't seem to use those as much. Which brings me to my next tip. Repurpose everything. If you make a graphic, take a photo, anything, you should never, ever, ever be posting that piece of content in only one place. If you snap a nice pic, then you best be putting that bad boy everywhere. Post it on IG, Facebook, use it in emails and blog posts if you're going that route. Every platform you're on, use that content. Adjust it if needed, maybe change up the caption, but use it everywhere. Let me give you a better example. A few weeks ago, I launched my holiday collection. I took all the product photos and created a banner for my website's homepage. Then, that banner got tweaked and trimmed into an Instagram gift guide. That gift guide got posted on Facebook too. Then, I could have taken the caption, made it a little longer, and turned it into a blog post. You best believe I used those same graphics and wording from the caption to my email newsletter. If you create a YouTube video, splice it up and turn it into a reel or a TikTok. If you have a blog post, take a good snippet and turn it into a social media caption. Don't make it harder than it has to be. Oh, hey, that is actually my next tip. Don't make it harder than it has to be. I'm an artist and a photographer. I love designing and taking photos, but I had myself convinced that I had to take every photo for my website and social media with my fancy DSLR camera, and that all my graphics had to be painstakingly designed in Illustrator or Photoshop. She took me so long that I found myself not wanting to post anything because it was so overwhelming. Luckily, I got over that nonsense, and now I just create everything in Canva Pro. Seriously? If Canva doesn't fucking sponsor this podcast someday, I'm going to lose my shit. Anyway, if you've listened to any other episodes, you've probably heard about Canva. I'm obsessed. It makes content creation so easy. I use their templates, which sometimes give me ideas for content, and just whip stuff up. I use my brand colors and I uploaded my brand fonts, but it gives me access to thousands of stock photos, videos, graphics, animation, even music. It's awesome. So don't be a martyr and convince yourself that you need to kill yourself to create content. Take a good pic of your product with your phone and post it. Tip number 5 is to focus on 4 types of content. When you're trying to sell on social media, there are 4 types of content you should be focusing on. Any of these types can be used to sell your product or not. You want to have a good mix of content that sells and content that's just there to keep your audience interested. The first type is engaging content. This is content that draws your audience in and invites interaction. It might be a question or a poll. You can create this content to sell your product, like a poll about which color your peeps want your new product to be available in, or just related to your industry. It's a great way to do some market research, but also just get your followers talking to you. People buy from companies they have a rapport with, so build it. Next up is educating content. This one is obvious, but it's where you teach your audience something. It could be how to care for your product or how to select the right type of product for them. Maybe you give them a behind-the-scenes peek at your process and show them how part of your product is made. Then we've got inspiring content. This is content that lifts your audience up and lets them see what's possible. It could be as simple as a quote and a pretty picture. It could be part of your business's story, how you started at zero and now you're kicking ass. Anything that makes your audience think, damn, maybe I could do something like that. Last up is entertaining content. This one is fun. Your dancey, funny, goofy TikToks and Instagram Reels fall under this category. Entertaining content doesn't have to have a deeper message. Maybe you show your blooper reel from your last video you created. Perhaps you talk about a ridiculous mix-up that happened in your business. Maybe you just share a funny meme that relates to your industry. Just have fun and take a break for a minute. If you cycle through these types of content throughout the weeks and months, you'll have a happy audience on social media for sure. Tip number 6 is don't forget the social in social media. Trust me, I get it. Social anxiety is real, yo. And my throat tightens up every time I get a new message from a stranger in my Instagram inbox. Half the time they're spammy shit offering to sell me followers, but the other half, they're genuinely awesome people looking to connect. If you figure out a way to run a business without talking to other people, let me know. But until you do, you're going to have to engage. That means responding to comments on your posts, leaving some comments on other people's posts, and responding to messages. Yes, there are so many garbage people on the internet hiding behind the anonymity of a screen name, but there's also a shit ton of really nice people who want to make friends and support small businesses. Find those people and talk to them. Number 7, if you show, you'll grow. I can't give you a definitive answer about where to post and how often, but what I can tell you is this. When I post content that I've put a little time and effort into, I get followers. Sometimes they're rando porn stars or sugar daddies, but most of the time, they're just regular cool people. So treat social media like you hopefully treat your business, like a job, a commitment, something you need to do regularly to make the biz work. Set up a schedule for yourself that you can maintain and stick to it. Tip number 8, don't get caught up in the nonsense. There are so many weirdos on the internet. There are the spammers who want you to buy followers. Don't do it. Then there are the gurus who promise you that this latest hack will get you 1,000 followers in a day. Maybe they've got the goods, but just avoid the bullshit. Don't do anything shady, like buying followers. And don't get caught up in every new tip or trick you see. Chances are they'll work for someone, but just focus on creating quality content that's aimed at your ideal customer and you'll be fine. And here's the thing. You don't need 10,000 followers to have a successful business. You just need a good group of people who love what you do and want to support you. Look for those people and ignore the rest. Tip number 9 is to keep an eye on the news. Holy shit, has Instagram released a bunch of new stuff lately. Every platform goes through changes and releases new tools to help accounts grow. I personally subscribe to the Social Media Today newsletter and try to keep half an eyeball on what's new with the platforms I'm on. Easy peasy. And tip number 10. Just try shit and have fun. There are so many ways to be on social media. It can be overwhelming. This is my advice. Try everything once. Make a reel, do a live stream, whatever. If you hate it, then that's fine. It really sucks that social media platforms give advantages to certain types of content, like reels on Instagram. Because if that's not your thing, then you can feel like the chips are stacked against you. But trust me, there are still people who like regular photos. There are still people who like a good quote. Just do the best you can with what you're comfortable with and have fun out there. Social media can be daunting and hard to manage, but it's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, look at what you're doing and see what you can change, because if you hate it, you won't keep it up, and that's not going to be good for your business. The best part of this whole small business thing is that ideally, we don't have to work the jobs that make us dread getting out of bed in the morning. You're the boss. Pivot that shit if it doesn't make you happy. Okay, so there they are. 10 whole tips to get you started on your social media journey. Hope you found them helpful. If you did, leave us a review. We really like that. Until next time, my friends. Love you lots. Bye.
Thanks for listening. If this episode inspired you or made you smile, consider leaving us a review. Or screenshot the episode and share it on social media. Don't forget to tag Stuck on Snark so we can say thank you. See you next time!